Welcome to the Education in Isolation podcast with me, Angela Connell, where we will explore the challenges of businesses moving from a face-to-face training mode to an online training environment. Many businesses have been caught off guard by the COVID-19 pandemic, but the situation is proving to be a catalyst for new possibilities and opportunities for the training industry. Let me and my guests help you make the most of these opportunities and to navigate the transition so that you and your organisation come out stronger and more resilient than when you went in. Education is the answer and you are the leader. Hi and welcome to Education in Isolation. And today we're interviewing Christine. Christine is actually a member of Vivacity and has been with us as a member for just over a year, but I've known Christine for quite some years. We've known each other when I used to live in Newcastle and through the training industry. So I'm so honoured to have you on our podcast today, Christine. And we're so grateful that you're going to be able to, share with others what you have done through this period. So, hi, Christine. Who are you and what do you do?
Well, thank you for that kind introduction. Hi, I'm Christine Chittenden. I'm the CEO and owner of Transformational Institute in New South Wales. We deliver both accredited and non-accredited courses from health, community services and the business training packages, particularly leadership and management in that area. I've been in the vet sector for about 15 years and owned this RTO for 2 years. So I've done everything in the vet sector from admin all the way up to where I am now. I've worked for a lot of RTOs over my career, some better than others. And I bought this RTO because I really want to make a difference in people's lives and give our learners the best experience and training possible so that they leave the RTO knowing that they have the skills and knowledge to be a great manager, a great carer, and to have the tools to progress in their career.
Awesome. And I know that it has been quite a journey for you since you took on this RTO, and very different from what you have done in the past, so working for other RTOs. And then this year we had COVID hit. So what was your biggest challenge that you came across during the last 6 months?
Well, there were several big challenges, of course. The first one would be the learners, because they were unable to attend because of lockdown. Progress slowed, motivation went out the window. There was lots of distractions at home. We had lots of reasons why they couldn't be on the webinar or weren't submitting their work. No internet, no laptop. So that affected everything. And another issue was job seeker, because they didn't need to look for work. They weren't really motivated to study and improve their employability skills.
Yeah. That would have been very difficult. And I know some of the challenges you had was around students not being able to access technology, and that's because you transitioned to online.
Yes.
Yeah. What was that process like when you transitioned from face-to-face to online?
We already had an online platform, but now that everyone had to use it, we did a big upgrade. Everybody jumped in and worked on it for weeks. We added
your team.
Yeah, the team. Yes, yep. Yeah. We rewrote a couple of things, like contextualised it a bit more for online. You don't really think about, when you're doing face-to-face, how that won't work online. You can't have a discussion or, get in a group of 3, those sorts of things.
So what was your model? Were you doing live Zooms?
Yeah, so a couple of things we did where I stayed in the office every day, but only the trainer that was training that day came in and did a live webinar on Zoom. and anyone could log in because it was their normal day, and then they could submit, like move along with the trainer, and they would say, okay, stop now, think about your question, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we also put a box out the front, which worked brilliantly. So if they did want a hard copy, they could pick it up out of the box and they could submit it back to the box. And we just had Glen 20 in there and sprayed the box all the time. So, you know, some people didn't have internet, and other people just really like a hard copy to work with.
Yeah, yeah. And so what was that when you had quite a few hurdles there to overcome? What was the most challenging with the students? Yeah, I know you had some pushback with some students.
Yeah. You know, we contact our students quite often, weekly mostly, just to check up on them. They're either, you know, we've got a huge range, the demographic of our students. So there's people looking for their first job, get back in the workforce, or just increase their career. So it's a really huge variety of people, and their computer skills, IT skills vary as well. So we just found that I don't have a laptop, I can't do it on my phone, I don't have any internet, the dog needs to go for a walk. Like, there was all sorts of lots of reasons why they couldn't be on the webinar. But we did record it and put it up on the learning platform so they could go back and look at it again, or just look at it for the first time. But it just wasn't happening. It's really hard to motivate people when they don't feel the urgency.
And so, how was your attendance then? And have you had anybody complete? So you had your commencements. How was your attendance and completion ratings?
Yeah, very, very slow. The certificate 3 people were just not into it at all. It was just too much trouble. The Cert 4 people and the people on leadership and management, you know, different attitude to things. So they sort of progressed quite normally, but the Cert 3s just disappeared.
Yeah. And so I know you returned back to classrooms. What was that like when you brought all the students back in?
Well, I wrote a really detailed Corona plan.
Yep.
I rewrote, or I added things to the student workbook, to the trainer handbook. We added it, put a few Facebook things out about what we were doing. I'm supplying masks, gloves, if they want to use it, the trainers or the staff or the students. There's hand sanitizer everywhere. I've got signs up about, have you washed your hands? Don't come in if you're sick. I put a TV in the reception and that rolls on with just coronavirus advice. Mm-hmm. And the box out the front. So still, if you want to use hard copy but don't want to come in, they can still use the box out the front.
And so what's your attendance rate being now? Are they all back now, or you still got a combination of?
Yeah, still got a combination. I think it'll stay like that. It's just, it suits some people, but for other people, it's just, they miss the camaraderie, I think. Mm-hmm. And because we do rolling starts, the people in your class already have a job. They've got a job since they started the course. And they can see that, you know, training actually works and will get you a job. Disability has a huge potential for employment. We get employers calling every week about, do we have any students that they can employ? So that motivates them even further. So all of the Cert 3s have come back to the classroom. I've taken out every second chair. I've got lines down, you know, to spread out in the kitchen and the reception, and I've done everything I can think of to make it safe for everybody. And so far it's been working really well.
They're complying?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they do realise. The trainers sort of mention it in the housekeeping part of the lesson, to remember to socially distance.
Yeah, and so do you see moving forward? You said that at the moment you've got a combination, so some are coming to the classroom and some are quite happy doing it distance. Do you see that changing in the future, like when we've 6 months to 12 months time? Will it change? Do you foresee that?
Well, if we get a second lockdown, we'll be right back to the beginning. But if things sort of progress as they are, I think it'll still be some people prefer to come in, and other people who have health issues, they just can't risk it. So, and some people really like being at home, doing their study. So we can, they can organise a Zoom meeting or telephone meeting with the trainer at any time. We have an extra day. They can come in for like a bit of attention one-on-one if they need it. So we really support them to make their own decision on which way they'd like to go.
And if we were to go into a second lockdown, so a second wave, how prepared do you feel compared to the first time?
I think we've learnt a bit about motivation. So yeah, there's things we've learnt definitely about how to keep people on track.
So what would you do differently this time?
I think I would give, there's members of the staff that are really good, like the trainers, give them a set cohort, maybe 5 learners that they would concentrate on, and really give them individual attention to get them motivated or keep them motivated and onto the webinar. Just make it a bit easier. I've done a few more webinars on how to use the webinar. That's up now. We didn't have that at first. And we can send that out like on email. It's just a little PowerPoint on how to, the benefits and how they can use it.
Yeah. And is this also using the online learning platform that you're using? Yeah. What platform are you using?
O-Train.
Okay. And how have you found adapting that with your combination where you're doing the Zoom training and then you're doing your recorded?
Yeah, it was really easy. I've been happy with O-Train. You can add, handouts or videos. A couple of the trainers did some specialised videos on things that were a bit difficult to do online. So they've been uploaded now. And we could probably do more of those if we get a second wave. They came back, and so we kind of stopped doing it because we needed to be on the floor. So we could do that.
Yeah. And I know, because I know, Christine, you've been attending our mastermind as part of a member as well. And so I know a bit about what you've been doing within your organisation. And one of the things you did was you set up a studio. How did that come about, and why did you do that?
Well, when all COVID happened, the first thing I thought about was, we should do some videos to put on the learning platform, because that would be the quickest ways to watch someone doing things. But then we found there's there's not enough light here. There's too much light here. There's the background of someone's, chair. Yeah. And so I had a spare room, just a little room. And so I just rushed out to Spotlight, grabbed some green fabric. I bought some lights and microphones, just quickly rushed out and got a whole heap of stuff, and then just set that room up. And the trainer can go in there, it's quiet, no one disturbs you, you can't hear anything else. We can put any background on it that we like. And it really was so efficient. We could just sort of, get done one after the other, and get them onto O-Train as quickly as possible.
And so that, I would assume, would have enabled you to be able to get more content out. How have the trainers been with adapting to this different delivery method?
Yeah, pretty good. Some people have issues, but
which is normal. You've been delivering, face to face for so long, and that's why I'm really interested. How did they go with that transition to going online?
Yeah, they miss the interaction. One of the reasons you're a trainer is because you've got people there talking to you, coming back to you. You can judge how your training's going. Do they get it? And when you're just talking to the screen, it's not the same at all. And people are quite shy to talk. It just makes it a bit more difficult. But I think on the whole, it was really good. And probably the first couple were a bit stilted. There was like, yeah. So what we're doing today is...
that just comes with practice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
They stopped sort of scripting themselves and just, I just advised them to just do it like, I could put a crowd on the wall if you like. Just relax and...
A bit like the football stadium.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And so now, how do you feel with them moving forward with doing more recordings and interactions with training?
Yeah, so we're all set up now, and if anybody, has a great idea, or if something comes up, we can really quickly jump in and get that done, and it can be up on O-Train within 24 hours. So,
and how I'm really interested. How did you change the mindset? How were you able to get over that hurdle with trainers and having to adjust and change?
Yeah, just talking.
Yeah,
just showing people the advantages, and trying to, even though they were disadvantages, not focusing on that, focusing on the advantages, and the joy of being a small RTO is you can pivot really quickly and meet the demand where it is, not where we'd like it to be. So some of the staff loved being at home, and other people hated it. We've got a really big office, so they're distance anyway, but they really miss the chatter and the banter of being in the office.
Yeah. And so, how did you overcome that with them working from home?
Yeah, so we had 3 meetings a day using Google Hangouts, and everybody, answered with video. Sometimes it was in their bedroom because that's where their desk is. There's nowhere else in the house where the kids can't find you. And that was really great, like 3 times a day, just to say hello to everybody, but kind of share what you were doing, what you were up to, and they could, have a bit of chatter as well. Like, I never made it a 5-minute thing or anything. They could just have a bit of chatter about what they were doing with their life as well, because anxiety is very common, and their mental health's got to be looked after at the same time.
Yeah, I think that has been one of the big challenges with a lot of small businesses, is you're not only dealing with, pivoting a business or how you're going to adjust your delivery of your training, you're also dealing with the mental health of your team and how are they managing and coping as well. And I say that's where your leadership skills, you're really pulling in on that, because I know you also are a leadership trainer, business and leadership trainer as well. So I think that would have been an advantage for you to be able to do that. So when you look back on the last 6 months and everything you've done, what would you say is your biggest achievement?
Gosh, biggest achievement. I think everyone pulling together and having brainstorming ideas where people came up with some really good stuff. And it will put us in good stead no matter what the future, if we have another lockdown or not. We are ready now. I feel like we're really prepared, and we got through it. So we're still here.
Still standing?
Yeah, still standing. But like I say, mostly it was really good ideas, and everyone's come out it with their sanity intact here. And, the students are back doing what they want to do. And, I think we've reinvigorated ourselves since we got back, with the prospect of the future being a good thing, not a black thing.
Yeah. And also through this, and I know we were chatting about this earlier, taking on this RTO, you also took on a big debt. So, and you were able to pay that debt off, which is always a good achievement to be able to, particularly through these times as well. And you got busier as well. I heard that through your going through the mastermind and things like that. Because one of the other challenges you had was you didn't have any problems with work placement. The problem was finding enough people for the work placement, because the centres, the facilities, in particular delivering individual support, they were crying out for staff members and even volunteers. What were your challenges with dealing with students, doing work placement as well as doing the training, and then infection control on top of that?
Yeah, so what we did was give everybody infection control. I had that on scope because it's really important when you're working in care. And then the COVID specific one came out, so we've got that. But I gave all the students that because you just can't put enough importance on infection control. We do a lot of extra non-accredited things for carers. One of the trainers still work in the industry, and she just has amazing ideas of how we can better train the learners so that they go out there with a lot of skill. And all year I've had employers, since NDIS, there's a lot of little new providers, and they all need staff, and it's about 2,000 people short.
Right.
And that's supposed to double within the next 5 years. So, we've got the trainers, the resources, and the employers, but not the students.
Yeah.
And those people in that demographic, there's no money out there, and there was no government money either. So that's been the biggest thing, is how to get them trained without funding.
So we've got a high unemployment at the moment. Are you finding that those people that are unemployed are coming in looking for training as well?
We get a lot of referrals. My auntie, my uncle, my cousin, they just did the course. They loved it. We've got them coming from all over the, other areas, sort of Upper Hunter, Central Coast, travelling to Newcastle. And these, we interview everybody before they start the course, a phone interview and then a group interview. So we don't get people that are just there because they have to. These people want to be there. They want to work in support areas. And, we find we get a really good retention rate and a really good completion rate.
Yeah. And so so you said that the challenge is finding the students. And what have been some of the challenges with recruiting students? Is it government funding? Is it lack of funding out there for students to come through? or is it the value that they put on the training, or is it they don't want to work in those industries?
Yeah, we've got plenty of people who do want to work in the industry, but they just couldn't afford to pay for a course. And so it came down to funding, you know. So that's all it was. And I spoke to everybody I could think of, government, education, employment departments,
There was no
everywhere. No.
Yeah.
And any money that there was went into droughts and bushfires.
Right.
And we weren't in any of those areas. So there was just nothing left. You know, I mean, we all understand that the dollar will only go so far. But it was very frustrating to have about 30 students waiting, about, 8 employers waiting, and then nothing I could do about it.
Yeah. So we are in a very fortunate position now where we've got Job Trainer coming in. So, and we will be going through quite a few strategies on how to attain a Job Trainer. So I would foresee that you would need to have that in your plan moving forward. How has that announcement affected your business? What are you doing? What strategies are you putting in place?
Yeah, so we've had a strategy meeting. I've set up a few projects, given people the project management. So every team member's got a different project, either in combination or their own to work on. We're going to be meeting every week. We do have a morning huddle every morning as well, but we'll specifically be meeting with different departments to, keep an eye on how we're going. So I've got a 90-day plan, and we'll be checking every month to see how that's going.
So some great strategies moving forward as well. So what are your strategies for the next 6 to 12 months? Where do you see yourself in 12 months' time?
Yeah, I feel very positive. I really do. I think, the job trainer is such a good idea, especially for the sector that we deal with. There's just not enough people. We need to get people trained. There's jobs there. So I am confident. We've got everything in place, and we're getting a really good reputation for turning out, good employees. So I think we're just going to just keep on keeping on, and just expanding on what we're doing.
Yeah. And what would your strategies for delivery, how you're going to deliver your training? Do you think you'll go back to full-on face-to-face, or will there be a combination?
Yeah, I'd like to stick with combination. I think, we kind of pride ourselves on being flexible to what the learners need, their best way of doing things. We're all different. And so we're completely set up now. They can come in face to face. They can get their hard copy books and take them home and do them, or they can do it all online and join a webinar, or watch the webinars that have already been done. They don't even have to be there. So, I'd really like to just keep on with the options.
Yeah, so really good strategies moving forward by the sounds of it there, Christine. What do you think has helped you to be able to put these strategies in place and build the business the way that you've got it right now? What has made the difference?
Well, to be honest, Angela, it's been you.
Oh, thank you.
No, really, you've really helped me stay focused on what had to be done and make some difficult decisions that I really didn't want to make, just because it's, I didn't want to do it. But yeah, your masterminds have really helped me focus on what needs to be done and just get in and do it. And that's what I've sort of grabbed with both hands. I've just, that's what I wanted to do. I want us all to move ahead and grow together. So that's what's in the back of my mind all the time. And your strategies have really helped me put that into action.
Yeah, I think it helps when you have, because it can be very lonely at the top when you're running a training organisation or any business. And I think that coaching side is what a lot of businesses do need in order to look at the high value activities and what you need to focus on. And I know one of the big achievements that I'm very proud of that you had done is got out of the training room so that you could focus on the business instead of working in the business. When you made that decision, yeah, I was celebrating that as a win for me, because I think I got you to see what the benefits are of being more focused on the business than in. Yeah. So I'm so glad that you got so much out of the mastermind, because that's why we did it. We wanted to make sure that our clients, our members, were sustainable, and we can't survive on compliance alone.
No.
We need to be able to know how to put strategies in place within business and marketing, and there's so much more that we want to do as well. So yeah, you've been a great member as well at Vivacity. It's been so good to watch you grow and see how you take what you learn and you implement it and you put it in. And it's what you want to see from every student, even as a trainer, you want to see that. But it is such a achievement for me when I see that, when our clients are doing that as well and implementing what they've learned. So this leads me to my last question. What do you do, and how do you keep motivated each day? What drives you?
Wow. It's multi-level. It helps me sleep at night to know that we're turning out really good students that can be employable. We've got a very high rate of our students get employed, sort of 5 or 6 units into their course. Watching the team members grow and be able to, face things that we never thought we'd have to face, and keeping it together and really improving themselves to match what's needed. And I think just knowing that we're really moving ahead. As you mentioned before, we had a large debt that's paid off, and now I feel like I can really focus on what we need to do to grow the business. And I really want to. I want all the staff and myself to, be really satisfied in what we do, and be able to go home every day thinking, wow, that's a good day.
That's really good. I feel motivated. So, in a nutshell, it's the results that you're getting with your students that keeps you motivated each day.
Yeah, definitely. I have grown men crying about how they've never finished anything, or, they were told at school, you'll never amount to anything. I had a really lovely young lady who had autism, and she was asked to leave another training provider because she was too slow. And, in the disability industry, people with autism are fabulous because they just concentrate on their care plan. They don't care that it's, a bit dusty or there's cockroaches, or whereas other people go, oh, I can't go there. But this young lady just went in, looked at her care plan, did her job really well, and she was highly prized. And it did take her a bit longer, but what difference does it make? She came twice a week, every week. She was absolutely dedicated to finishing, and it took her a bit longer, but she's got a job. She got a traineeship. So it's just heartwarming that
very proud, I can hear as well.
Very, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great reason for being in the training industry. It's one of the reasons why I do it. We change lives through education. And when you see the impact of, bringing someone through their training and then them getting a job, and the big thing is it's not just getting the job, it's not just learning the skills, it's the confidence that they build in themselves as well.
Yeah. And we've got so many who, do their Certificate 3, and then a few months later they come back and they go, oh, look, I want to do the Certificate 4. And, they just want to, that's their career now and they want to go for it.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Christine, for attending our podcast today. It's been great having a chat with you and learning so much more. Like, I already knew a lot about what you were doing within your RTO. It's very inspirational what you have done, and you've just taken the bull by the horns and taken off. So well done to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You've been listening to the Education in Isolation podcast with me, Angela Connell. If you'd like access to the show notes and other resources to find subscription options, you can find us at educationinisolation.com. The Education in Isolation podcast is proud to be part of the Experts on Air podcast network.